UFC 268, Michael Chandler and Justin Gaethje most likely going to be the co-main event for that fight card, with Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington just got announced only 2 hours ago. It's going to be an absolute banger. I mean, we've all been waiting for this fight just in the highlight Gaethje and Iron Michael Chandler. It's going to be an absolute banger. Both of them, they wrestled in D1 in college, and they wrestled in high school. Both have amazing wrestling, but they both kind of fell in love with their hands. Michael Chandler fell in love with that big right hand, and Justin Gaethje, as we saw in his last couple of fights with Ferguson, Donald Cerrone, and even with Khabib for a little bit until, he got submitted there, they're kind of falling in love with their hands a little bit. But for this fight right here with Michael Chandler and Justin Gaethje, I would think the game plan for Michael Chandler would probably be to wrestle and grapple. I do think he's going to have a slight advantage in the offensive wrestling. Gaethje's offensive wrestling, I don't think will be able to get a takedown on Michael Chandler. It's possible, but I think if someone's going to get the fight down, it'll definitely be Michael Chandler. He has better wrestling, he has better grappling than Gaethje, but Gaethje is a D1 wrestler as well, so he could definitely defend. The height and reach is pretty even, 5'8" tall, and a 71.5" reach, 5'11" tall, a little bit taller, but a little less of the reach right there. But the game plans for both fighters, Michael Chandler needs to go out there, stand the back foot, have Gaethje come to him, throw that big right hook like he always does, and the level change, go for the takedown. He needs to just keep on going and try and get the fight to the ground, use that wrestling, use that grappling, and add in a little bit of ground and pound there as well. Look for that submission. That's going to be the main way, because he is going to have that advantage in the wrestling and grappling. That is going to be the main way in the wrestling and grappling for him to win the fight. But he's no slouch on the feet either. I told you he has that big right hand. Almost knocked out Charles Oliveira, the current lightweight champion. Knocked out Dan Hooker in the first round, Benson Henderson in the first round, Sidney Outlaw. All these guys, he's shown he has a lot of power with that right hand, and his left hook. I mean, he got the left hook knockout on Dan Hooker, Benson Henderson, but he's a very powerful fighter, and I do think that he's going to have the power advantage over Justin Gaethje. But will he have the power advantage once Gaethje starts unleashing on those leg kicks? That's the question I'm trying to think right here, because Gaethje, we know he's going to go out there and just attack the leg. We saw in the Charles Oliveira fight with Michael Chandler, we saw Charles Oliveira start to attack that leg a little bit in that first round. We don't really know if that really affected it to get him the knockout in the second round, but he was landing a lot of leg kicks there, and Gaethje's leg kicks are a lot harder and a lot more effective, so those are going to be really damaging on a guy like Michael Chandler, who has really good movement and relies on that movement and the power in his foot to actually land that big right hand or that left hook. So if he can take away the legs early in the first and second round, I think it might set up Justin Gaethje for a knockout in that second or third round once Chandler's legs are a little compromised, and if you attack the legs, it's going to make it a little bit harder for Chandler to actually land that takedown. But overall, it's a really close fight. Michael Chandler needs to wrestle, needs to grapple, or land that big right hand, or just push forward with the right hand and then just whack him with that left hook and knock him out. Those are the main ways Chandler's going to win. It would be just that overhand right or that left hook, or just wrestling and grappling. But my prediction right here is going to go towards Justin Gaethje. I do think his wrestling and grappling skills, I don't think they're better than Michael Chandler's, but I do think he can use them to keep the fight on the feet for the most part in this fight. And I think we'll see a striking fight with Gaethje and Chandler. And Gaethje, I think the pressure and volume of Gaethje is going to be a lot more than Michael Chandler, plus the leg kicks as well. I think he'll be on the front foot, moving Michael Chandler backwards against the cage, trying to land combinations, attacking that lead leg, and I think it'll pay dividends in the second and third round, and I do think Gaethje is going to get the knockout. I was thinking maybe a submission here, but I do think Gaethje, I think if Gaethje wins, it's going to be a knockout. If Michael Chandler wins, it's going to be a knockout. So I'm going to go Gaethje, going out there, putting on that pressure, attacking that lead leg of Michael Chandler, and just eventually getting Michael Chandler's back against the cage, throwing those combinations, and eventually landing a big shot and knocking out Michael Chandler in the second or third round. But Gaethje versus Chandler, I mean, it's an absolute banger, especially when you think it's going to be on UFC 268 with Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman. That fight card is going to be absolutely stacked, but in addition to Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler, possibly another title fight as well, and many more fights to come for UFC 268. I can't wait for the fight card. But right here, Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler, I am going to go with Justin Gaethje. I mean, it literally just got announced like 4 or 5 hours ago, but I'm going to go Justin Gaethje. with the leg kicks, with the pressure, and getting him to the back of the cage, knocking him out in the second or third round. But really, really good fight. Put your predictions in the comment section below. Do you think Michael Chandler is going to go out there, use that wrestling, use that grappling, and grind on the ground for the win? Do you think Michael Chandler is going to land that big overhand, that big left hook that he did in his last couple of fights with Dan Hooker and against Benson Henderson inside of Bellator? What do you guys think is going to happen? Really, really good fight. Cannot wait for this fight to happen. I kind of hope it's 5 rounds, but I really doubt it's going to go the full 5 rounds. But overall, really, really good fight. Cannot wait. But I got Gaethje by knockout in the second or third round.